say good morning.
There's that first 6 minutes where you don't see anyone.
Yeah, but you can be waving.
Oh, look, there's a new member there. Let's say hello to them whilst I'm here. Who's that?
Hello, Glass Fine.
Glass Fine.
Glass Fine. Welcome, Glass Fine, to the family guest area. I'm going to write that down because at the end, I'm going to sing you a little welcome song.
Oh, baby. Good morning. Oh, God. I was trying to be jolly. I can't.
Go on, do it.
Good morning, everybody.
All right, well, that's not jolly. That's annoying.
All right.
You can have a shave when you get back.
Yes.
Do you know what he started doing? He gets up in the morning and he goes downstairs. He doesn't even give me a kiss or nothing.
Because you're normally going,
No, but that doesn't matter. Find me.
Darling, why do you
And just
always
give me a
save the
kiss.
complaints for the channel?
I don't. I complain all the time.
Hope your weekend was good. Hope you enjoyed the curly cooks.
Do you like my top, guys?
Yeah,
You
I
don't
do.
like this top,
No,
do
I do actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
I really like it.
All Achille.
It is all Achille.
Oh, there you go. It is all Achille.
I thought you hated this top. Do you like it?
Yeah, I do.
I like it. I think it's cheery.
I like the colour.
I thought I'm going to wear a cheer people up top.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear more colour in
There
the
you go.
winter.
Anyway, I'm just popping in just to say hello. I'm scooting out.
So
Hello.
we're going to be talking about The Whale today.
Which is a film, not
is a film.
a whale.
But that Mark has seen, and I have not yet seen because he got to see a screening, and we were talking about it this morning, weren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it honestly, it broke my heart what Mark was saying about it. He's actually done a review of the film, so you can check that out.
Me and Nanny Di, it will be landing.
But we looked at the news today and we thought, do you know what? We just didn't fancy any of it. The bloody Tories are up to whatever they're up to again, bored. Most of us support the nurses, 100%. In fact, I want to make a cake on next strike day and take it down to them.
There's an ambulance picket line, just by the old Vic.
Yeah. Well,
I beat
also I
the
saw
horn
outside
for them.
King's College, yeah. We just thought, let's do, because yesterday it was the Venice Film Festival, wasn't it, the Wales?
No.
Yes, Sunday.
Venice Film Festival happened yonks ago.
Oh, I was reading an old article.
Yeah. It's the Sundance Festival at the moment.
Oh,
But yeah,
I thought it was because
at
that
the Venice.
article that was here, I thought it was yesterday, speaking at the Venice. Anyway, so we thought we would talk, even though I haven't seen the film, I want to talk about the themes of the film because we had a really good conversation about it, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
And we're going to be talking about engagement rings and whether you should give them back. And I'm going to tell them what you thought, which was amazing. Now
Anyway,
you've got to go.
I'm
Mark's
skedaddling.
filming
All right,
this
lots of
morning.
love.
Enjoy.
Lots of love. Oh, and by the way, regarding the curly cooks, there is an incompatibility between
so annoying.
Apple phones since the last update and YouTube, which is why there has become this judder. But we are doing things this weekend that should hopefully resolve that. So hopefully from this weekend there won't be that judder. I mean, a few people haven't noticed it, but I think on some monitors it's more noticeable than others.
Oh, hang on, from Michelle. Sarah,
this?
I know, sorry, I forgot because I thought I always do it on my phone. Sarah, thank you, Michelle. Sarah.
Pearl Mutter. Oh, sweetie, you need a bit of a boost.
Pearl Mutter is
sweetie.
feeling down today, so if anyone wants... And did you say it's her birthday?
Yeah.
And it's her birthday.
Yeah.
So I'll sing you happy birthday afterwards, Sarah.
So remember, Nads, if you need to get up to the most up-to-date comments, you press the arrow
Because he
down.
always does that for me.
Yeah.
All right, bye, darling.
bye, guys.
Nice to see you, Michelle. Looking forward to seeing you in person tomorrow. Whatever happens, it's happening tomorrow. Hi, Christos. How are you? Hi, Bev. Hi, April. Hi, Anne. Anne. Do you see that as Anne or go Annes? Now, do you remember that advert, Anne? It was Jane Seymour in Anne. Bye, darling. Anne. And it was such a beautiful ad with all those flowers. I love the bottle. Yeah. I literally bought that perfume because I loved the advert. Anne. Yeah, so morning everybody, how are you? I've got a really annoying thing in that I took my pill earlier and it's stuck there and it's really annoying. So if I keep gulping, it's because I'm trying to get rid of it. Oh, I think I've done it. You have to literally force yourself to do a big swallow that might give you the burps. Hang on. Okay. So Oh, Teresa. Oh, there's not many of us. You've got a friend called Nadia. There's not many of us. So, it's really stuck. Oh no, it's shifting. Elsa Pott. Read an article on Sarah Lancashire yesterday. She was diagnosed with clinical depression at age 18. Just makes me love her even more. Well, funny you should say that, because Mark said yesterday, when we were watching the latest episode of Happy Valley, did you once say to me, Nadia, that she suffered from clinical depression? I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure she did. I think she also really suffered with HRT. Yeah, and she very much has to hibernate. That's why, I mean, she's a picky actress in the best sense of the word, that she doesn't do much. She really has to love the script. But I wonder if that's also why we see her disappear for a while. We don't know. We love her so much. We love her so, so much. She's utterly, utterly brilliant. Next time I see Lee and I've got a camera, I'm going to get him to tell the story of what he feels about Sarah Lancashire, because it's very funny. Zoe, I'm still scared from the cycle outfit from last night's episode. It became ridiculous. You have to watch our review, because yes, Sarah Lancashire is the goddess and angel of all that is brilliant actresses. But yesterday's episode was very odd. I thought our review actually was quite funny. I couldn't get off the sofa, so Mark had to move tables and everything, because I said I can only review this if I stay lying down. It was funny. Check it out. Yeah, so first of all, has anyone seen The Whale? I don't think it's out yet. Mark has reviewed it because he got to go to a screening and I didn't get to go. Has anyone seen it? Maybe it's not out yet. So anyway, hi Lynn Cullen is a new member. Let me write down your name so I can sing you a song. Lynn Cullen. Thank you for all your lovely messages about Curly Cooks. As we say, by this Saturday, the technical issues that we have will be sorted. But yeah, really, really, it's great working with Dina, because isn't she a natural presenter? Don't you think? Out on the 3rd of Feb. Thanks so much, Michelle. Out on the 3rd of Feb for mere mortals that don't get to go to screenings. Thank you, Reese Roberts, as well. So, because there was another little interview with him yesterday or this morning, Mark and I got talking about the film, and I said, I can't wait to see it. And he said, well, listen, prepare yourself, because he said it is absolutely heartbreaking. And he said it's the first movie that he's ever seen that really does show just how difficult it is for those people living with obesity, morbidly obese, severely obese, whatever the terminology is. We all know what we mean when we say that. And Mark was actually quite tearful when he was talking to me about it. He was saying that it really, really got to him watching. Just, he said he was really challenged with his own prejudice around obesity, but it was also very triggering for him with his overeating, because it's like grades of any addiction, isn't it? You could have the person that likes probably drinking half a bottle of wine every night, and that's affecting their lives, and you can go right to the other end where somebody's drinking 4 or 5 bottles of vodka. But we can all, many of us that are on the spectrum can understand. And Mark was very triggered by the overeating scenes. And he said, fascinated at the same time, that purient desire to look at other people's lives and how difficult they can be. So that was really challenging. He said there has never been a film like this that shows the really, really tough part of physically living in such a big body, like the aches, the pains, the movement, the agony, the horrors, the pain, the emotional and physical pain. This is in the cinema, Claire. Brendan, I always want to say Brendan Foster, it's not, it's Brendan Fraser, is the actor. You all know him from the movies, The Mummy. Do you remember him in The Mummy? Apparently he's just quite extraordinary in this film. He hadn't been in a big film for decades, and the writer of the film hadn't been able to cast this film, The Whale, for 10 years. He'd been looking for the right actor, and he saw Brendan Fraser in a trailer for a low-budget Mexican film and said, that's the guy, George of the Jungle, yeah. Now, he's struggled with his weight in real life, this actor. I know there's been some, online, there's been a lot of people that haven't been happy that he wasn't actually morbidly obese. But as I say, I've always said I don't think actors need to be exactly what they're playing. But Mark said this performance is quite extraordinary. And it brings up the theme, I think, well, definitely, it brings up the theme and the discussion about our prejudice around people living with obesity. About the rage. I mean, people can get so rageful about it. There's somebody in my family that I actually said a few months ago, I said, oh my God, you've turned into a fattist. You're prejudiced. And this person said to me, oh, I haven't turned into it. I've always been that. And I was like, wow. Is there anything else in life that we could have a prejudice about, which we could just say it, just like that? Like, in a room full of people. I mean, nobody sort of batted an eyelid. I mean, people would have thought, oh God, that's awful. But nobody would have, in that room on that day, was going to stand up and say, that's disgraceful, like they would if they'd said something really racist or something really sexist. Why is it? You know, is it that so many of us, is it that so many people have such a fear of being, whatever word you want to say, obese, fat, overweight, whatever it is? Is it that there's still such a lack of understanding that anyone could be out of control with their food for any other reason than they're just greedy? You know, do we say of somebody that's in the throes of addiction to alcohol or anything else, do we just say, oh, they're greedy? Or do we ever say, what's going on for them? You know, Mark says it's so sad in the film because he's an English teacher and he teaches a lot of his teaching lessons in Zoom, but he's always just a blacked out square. And he says that his camera is broken because he never wants anyone to see him, you know, that hiding away. And yeah, I think that we all do. We do question it, don't we? I mean, not so much me, I have to say. I do have a real understanding. I mean, I've got people in my family. I mean, there is somebody actually that sadly has now died who was morbidly obese in my family, and another friend of mine who is morbidly obese and hates it. But says to me, you know, it's the only way to shut down my feelings, these massive binges. And Mark says the binges in the film are just like, he said it's so shocking, so upsetting. And I think we do have to start calling out people. I mean, in my business, in show business, people will just say horrible things about people that are, you know, obese with nobody challenging them. Nobody challenges them. And it is interesting that Mark said as well that that he said he had to question his own judgment because when he was watching it, it's like he kept coming, you know, just stop the eating. Of course, he's 18 years sober with alcohol, and he had to keep saying, well, it's not that simple. And I said, yeah, but also I think there's been a lot of mixed messaging, hasn't there? Whereas if we say anything about somebody's health and weight, it can easily be turned into, are you body shaming? Are you fat shaming? And I think that line sometimes has got a bit blurred. It's like, you know, if somebody, you know, like this friend of mine who's morbidly obese, I don't want her to have fish and chips and then call in a pizza and then call in, just like I didn't want Mark to drink the vodka and then have the wine and then have and that's okay. That's not me saying anything about the way that she looks. It's me saying, what is going on inside of you? What's going on? The pain and anguish and the loneliness and all those other things. Now, there are some people, absolutely have to acknowledge this, who are, who are living with obesity that are okay with that. And I totally respect that. But I think there's so many different things going on with this subject, and everyone is a bit eggshelly with it. And that's, I hate being eggshelly about any topic, but I don't think we are protecting people enough with the language that people use. And he talks in this interview, Brendan Fraser, about how often the people that, because obviously he did a lot of research talking to a lot of people living with obesity, and he said over and over again, there were just terrible comments made when they were younger by adults. And he's, in a lot of his interviews, he wants to get this across, that we just have to remember the power of the words that we use. Dawny Hervey, that's me, I'm okay with it. It's just the ignorance of others, did you say, that's upsetting? Yeah. Erin Bullimore, some years ago, glanced at a person running. My response was, oh my God, immediately felt so bad because he was clearly trying so hard, but it was a shock to see someone so big. I couldn't comprehend his weight. Yes, that's what we have to talk about. And that's what Mark said. I think he was, that he felt like he pulled away because you see him, it's like unflinching, the film. You see him standing in his fully naked. And he said, yeah, he was having to question the whole time that judgment. It's because it goes so deep, doesn't it? What we're told is okay or not okay. Jacqueline, since my son died and menopause, I've piled the weight on. The pain is numbed with something nice. Since menopause, it's harder to lose again. I have social anxiety because I feel so uncomfortable. Well, Jacqueline, that just sums up what I'm very clumsily trying to talk about. But I think that we, if somebody that we love or somebody that's close to us, obviously if it's someone we don't know, we just have to challenge when we're just thinking something, challenge it and think about it. Obviously we're not going to say anything to that person, but challenge where our prejudices come in. Am I being prejudiced? Am I judging this person? Am I avoiding this person at a party because they are big? Am I doing that? Am I cutting them out of possibly communicating with them because of the way they look? Because I don't know how to look at them. I don't know how to feel about them. I don't know how to talk about them because all I'm seeing is the size of them. Have we ever done that? I definitely did when I was younger. Not now. When I was younger, I did because I was scared by it, because I was scared by my own fuck-ups about my body and my own overeating. And it's just, we have to be really brutal with ourselves and really honest with ourselves about the judgments that we make. I mean, beautifully put by Jacqueline, she lost her son, she's in menopause. Something nice just takes away that anxiety or that pain. I've realised, since my ADHD diagnosis, that so much of my overeating and my comfort eating has come from my anxiety. I didn't know I was anxious. Zoe, my dad had some issues with his weight over the years, but he's really turned his life around after health scares. But I saw the struggle he faced with it all and the judgments. I mean, that's the other thing, isn't it? Like this friend of mine who has children, oh my God. And what the other children say to her children that she then says to her, so we've all got to be so mindful. I mean, I think we should talk to our children about that prejudice in the same way that we do about racism or, sexism. It's just really important. And it's not just about, well, don't say anything. It's about, there might be something going on for that person. It could be medical. It could be, anything. So it's not our right to judge, because you never know what somebody's secret pain is, do you? You just never know. You never know what's going on behind closed doors. I had a situation recently of something where I was like, wow, really? Somebody I'd been a bit judgy about. I was like, right. Minky Moo said, my overweight people get treated like second-class citizens. Yeah. I think that's true. You hear that over and over again. It's funny, like, you know, I mean, the most I've probably ever weighed is tipping towards 13 stone, which in the world of showbiz is the equivalent of, oh, much, much bigger. Much bigger. It's like dog years, do you know what I mean? Because everyone, but the majority of people are so thin. I mean, just so thin. I mean, like, you see people, and then in real life, they're just so much thinner. So, you know, I always felt like I was on the outside edge of everything. I always felt like shoots. I hated anything because I just felt, so I'm imagining that as living, you know, as severely obese or morbidly obese. I never know what to say because I don't really like those words. They just sound so, I don't know, brutal. But that out in the world, where you become almost invisible because people don't want to talk to you. They don't want to look at you because they don't want to show on their face that they're shocked by the way that they look. So I just think that we all have to make more of an effort, don't you think? Like, if that person in the pub that you never speak to, that's always sitting on their own, with their own, you know, just on their drink, or at a party, because they're not jumping up about and dancing and being, you know, the belle of the ball. And it's like Mark said, you know, the big thing about this film is it really shows you the challenges of actually physically moving. And Brendan Fraser's, read some of his interviews, talks about that a lot. It's fascinating. So Withington, I'm more comfortable as I'm getting older. I ignore ignorance as long as I'm feeling happy and wearing brighter clothes. Exactly. I also put my dad, who isn't slim himself, sometimes make comments like, oh, I saw a girl the other day. She was a big girl like you. It makes me so angry. So, like, yeah, it's that thing, isn't it, of storing in your brain that you saw somebody big. Like it's newsworthy. Wow. Oh, yeah. My brother always makes a beeline for older people sitting alone in a pub and offers them a drink. Oh, I love that. Ellery Jones, I'm obese because I can still move around and go to the gym. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's different levels of it. And Ellery, you may be perfectly happy with it. I'm talking about, like, do you know what? There are people that overdrink. There are people that overshot. There are people that do all sorts of things to excess that are okay and their lives are stable. I think we're talking about here about people that it's not, and people that you know, just about having more understanding, and for people that are like if you're obese, Ellery, I'm sure you get people saying things to you or looking at you in a certain way. Yeah, so I am going to go and see this film when it comes out, and you know, maybe we can have another chat about it. Oh, sorry, I've got that. It's because that bloody pill. But yeah, I just think we've got to think more about what we think, haven't we? It's not even necessarily saying it, and I think that's what Mark said. You know, Mark would never say anything, you know, prejudice about anyone that was. I mean, he struggles so much with his body dysmorphia. I mean, Mark always thinks he's really overweight. He's got such a problem with his body image, and as you know, overeating and all of that, in that he has to control. But yeah, he said he was uncomfortable with the thoughts that were coming up. So yeah, we will both be interested to see what you think. Daniel Blake Smith, people were rude to me and didn't befriend me when I was obese, and my own I lost the end, hang on. And my own husband called me a pig after being intimate. Oh my God. Oh my God. Danielle. I mean, Jesus, I mean, how does a person, like, deal with that? I mean, just, oh my God, that is so brutal, and I'm so sorry. Bloody hell. Oh my God, I'm sorry. That's really upsetting me. Wow. There's some very brutal people out there, aren't there? Very brutal. Julie Everts, medically, I'm morbidly obese. I'm on immune suppressants and T1 due to my liver transplant, and I've lost 3.5 stone and a few stills, but still need to lose more. But it's so hard. It's so hard, and it's so hard if you haven't made the connection yet between eating and emotions. Like, that's the hardest thing. Like, you can be eating, like I always say this, sometimes I could eat a whole loaf of bread and not even know I'd eaten it, because I was just like eating because of something else that was going on here or here. And it's that thing of going, okay, right, why am I going to eat this thing? Is it because, do I feel sad? Do I feel lonely? Do I feel angry? Because I used to overeat a lot on anger because I didn't know what to do with my anger, especially after I gave up smoking. And I would find myself eating to try and suppress those feelings. So it can be that, it can be anger. And when you've gone through all those emotions, and then if you try and just sit and take a few minutes and go, where is the hunger? Is the hunger here in my heart? Or is the hunger really because I'm hungry? Because I haven't had enough yet to eat. And you might go, oh my God, have I got through all that? Well, kind of, yeah. So you can get back to that intuitive eating where you eat when you're hungry. And another thing that I really recommend is don't just eat because it's time to eat. Try and get back to when you feel the hunger pangs so that you're eating when you're hungry. Christine Bet, I would get told that I was Titanic when I was younger at school. Exactly. And this is what Brendan Fraser says. That so many of the people that he spoke to that are really suffering with being obese, I'm not talking about the people that aren't, would say that it began by somebody saying something to them when they were a child, and it cut so deeply and hurt so much that they couldn't, couldn't deal with it. So, yes, we'll be talking about this again when I watch the film. So, I don't know if you saw this article yesterday. Jamas, am I saying that right? God, should we just take a moment on how bloody beautiful she is? Oh my God, she is stunning. I didn't realise this. She was engaged to a basketball player out in the States. He must be a very wealthy basketball player, because I don't know which one is true, but it's either 800,000 or £1 million, or $1 million, or maybe it's $1 million and it's 800,000 pounds. I don't know. Anyway, after a whirlwind 7-month romance that they spent in 2021 in New Jersey, they got engaged, and and this gorgeous ring was given to her, and apparently he was madly in love with her and thought it was forever. And then I think they broke up. I think at the time the reason was given, it's the classic showbiz thing. They were both busy with their careers, something like that. Anyway, so they were engaged for less than a year, and she has now been, there is now a legal demand for the ring to be returned. Now, there has been a statement made by her agent saying at no point was she asked, at no point has she said no, and I think it said she intends to give the ring back. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that because in too many details. We don't know what the real backstory is. I love her. I've got nothing bad to say about her. It's not about that at all. But it just brought up this conversation between Mark and I. I mean, he might just not have asked for it back, and she thought, it's rather lovely, I'm going to keep it. Would we blame her? Anyway, Mark, what do you think Mark said when I said to him, would you want your ring back if you had proposed to somebody and then they broke it off fairly soon afterwards? Oh, Zoe would have chucked it back at his head. But what if I think she might have finished it. We don't know, because it's all just Daily Mail stuff. God knows, who knows the truth. No, but what if he's finished? Does it make a difference on who finished? Does that make a difference? So Smart Lee says no, Elaine says no. Minky Moo says, if he's been an arsehole, you keep it. If not, give it back. But the thing is with that, isn't that just so subjective? One person's arsehole could be another person's. Yeah. So who agrees with Minky Moo? If they've been an arsehole, you keep it. I wish I knew how to do the poll. If they've been an arsehole, is it right to keep it? Danielle, so just rather, Danielle says she should give it back. So rather than it being about Maya, what would you do? What would you do? I pawned, who's this? Oh God, it's going so fast. I pawned the engagement ring when I was 19. He was violent, pink lady, absolutely, and you pawned it. Absolutely, okay, so Minky, you would be on the Minky Moon. Jackie Valino, why would you want it anyway? But Jackie, remember, if it's £1 million, if it's £1 million, would you keep it no matter what this is? It's a moral dilemma, moral dilemma, moral dilemma. The moral dilemma. Bart would want it back, says Kelly. Oh, Sarah Witherington chucked hers in the local pond. Yeah, I'm a bit of a flouncer. I probably would have thrown it. I kept mine, but it was my grandmother's in the first place. Createaholic. He gave you your grandmother's engagement ring. Well, 100% you should be keeping it. Elaine Denning, I'm giving this ring in the belief we are getting married. If it ends, I want it back. How bloody romantic. Jackie, I'd ask for it back, says Amy May. If he asked it back, I think I'd give it back. Oh, but not if he didn't ask. Okay. Elizabeth Gordon, if it was £1 million, I'd want it back. Yes, because that's the thing. Is it about the money, or is it about, and this alludes to Mark's answer, is it about the feeling, and you're asking for the feeling back? Maybe the money confuses it. So maybe if we take it more back to an average price ring. Zoe, after every ex, I've given everything back. Don't want anything from them, but if it's £1 million, that's another story. It does sort of blur the edges a bit, doesn't it? Okay, so this is what I think. I think if somebody had treated me terribly and I was left without money, then I would keep it. But I wouldn't keep it in the house. I would have to sell it. Trouble is, you don't get much money when you resell a ring. Somebody there saying if he cheated, Alison Fisher says if he cheated, I'd throw it at him or flush it down the toilet. Yes, see, the thing is, these big dramatic acts, all of which I would follow if I'd been her, I would do exactly the same. It's because there's so much, is it because there's so much power in that ring? That ring signifies so much that to keep it or to throw it is like another dart, another arrow, isn't it? So maybe in this situation, it's not really about the money. Maybe he's just really, really hurt. And he wants that love that he gave with that ring back. Jacqueline Clements, lol, mine was £20 40 years ago. It was an Argos special. So that's interesting. Right. So would you give it back? Because it's about what was in it when he gave it to you. So if he'd been bad to you, would you I don't know now. I think it's, yeah. It was, what does it signify, that ring? Mark says, and I was surprised about this because he's dramatic too. He's very dramatic. I don't think it's just me. And he's very romantic and he's sentimental. So I totally thought he would want the ring back. I knew he wouldn't demand the ring back, but I thought he would want it back in that the promise is broken. So why would you have the ring? But he said categorically not. And he said the reason for that is that time has gone. The romance, the love, the everything, and to take it back doesn't fix all of that. So I suppose in a way that's romantic, isn't it? Vicky Waiting, I remember my dad making me give my engagement ring back even when I admitted he had been violent. I was quite hurt, to be honest. Your dad insisted because maybe he just didn't want you to have anything of this person that had treated you badly. Maybe. Alex Patton, I got divorced after 15-year marriage and sold both a wedding ring and engagement ring, but I don't think my ex-husband would have dared to ask for it back. Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Because I think like once you've got married, I think that's different, isn't it? Because it's almost like the engagement is the pre-contract to getting married. I think we need to get to a place where women are asking more people to get married. I mean, my girls, when I say anything, they go, oh God, no. Still so old-fashioned that. But I think, yeah, why aren't we asking more often? Why aren't we giving the ring? Why is it, yeah. Bet we'd all want it back that way around. Anyway, guys, I've got to go. I've got so many bloody things today and I've already gone over. So let's do a welcome song to Glasfeen and Lynn Cullen. Now, if you are new and this is your first time on the channel, you might not know that these songs are terrible. That is the point. So if you've been waiting for something lovely, you're going to be bitterly disappointed. We've got to think of, what's her name? Phoebe in Friends. Glasfeen. Glass fine. I'm not sure how you said Glasfeen. Glass fine. Welcome to the family guest. Harry-o! You can make that your ringtone if you like. Lynn Cullen, Lynn Cullen, Lynn Cullen, Lynn Cullen, Lynn Cullen. Oh, percussion. Oh, welcome to the family guest. Harry-o! Lynn Cullen. Sorry, that was really bad. And Sarah Perlmutter is feeling really down. Who's going to send her a hug? This fantastic community here are really great at rallying around when people are struggling. So please do. And it's also her birthday. So she's having a bad day on her birthday. So 1, 2, 3. Everybody sing from wherever you are, because I do think the vibrations do something. Feel good in your heart for Sarah Perlmutter. And let's sing a happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sarah. Happy birthday to you. Squash tomatoes and stew. That's very special for you, Sarah. And look at all those messages, Sarah. Look at all those. Look at all that love. That's why I love this channel. Please subscribe, doesn't cost you anything. Hit the notification bell and you will become part of this ever expanding family that we have on here. And we really do think of it as an extended family. Yeah, happy birthday, Sarah. Big love to everybody else. See you later.